All right, so you've written a Python script and thought to yourself, how do I actually turn this into a real, usable web app? Today, we are exploring exactly that. We're going to take a simple Python unit converter from basic raw logic all the way to a beautifully functioning web application. Here's our roadmap for today. We're looking at 1. The unit converter concept, 2. Writing the conversion logic, 3. Terminal and console inputs, 4. Enter Streamlit for the web UI, 5. Translating to a web interface, and finally, 6. Submitting your Python project. Let's jump right in.
Section 1. The unit converter concept.
Okay, before we even think about typing a single line of code, we really need a game plan. Every unit converter basically boils down to 3 simple things. First, we need the value, the actual number we're trying to convert. Second, we need the from unit, let's say kilometers. And third, the to unit we want to end up with. Without these 3 specific pieces of the puzzle, our app literally can't do its job. And then there's the math. Don't worry, it's super straightforward. We're talking basic rules like 1 kilometer is exactly 1,000 meters, or 1 meter is 0.001 kilometers. These core formulas are the absolute brain of the operation. Really, all our Python code is going to do is act as a traffic cop, telling the computer exactly when to apply which specific formula.
Moving on to Section 2, Writing the Conversion Logic.
So, how do we actually translate that math into Python? Well, we use a block of if, elif, and else statements. It's just like a routing system. If a user wants to go from kilometers to meters, bam, we multiply the value by 1,000. Notice we use a logical AND to strictly check both these starting and ending units. Oh, and this is absolutely crucial. If they type in some wild combination we haven't built yet, we have an else statement acting as our safety net. Instead of crashing the whole app, it just calmly returns not supported.
Now, I know staring at a massive wall of logic can feel pretty overwhelming, but just remember this golden rule. Code line by line. Break it down into chunks. Seriously, don't try to build the entire app in one go. Write your function, print it out to test, add your very first if statement, and test that. Taking it step by step is honestly the real secret to keeping your sanity as a developer. Which brings us to Section 3, Terminal and Console Inputs. Right, so hard coding numbers is a bit boring. Let's make things interactive, using Python's built-in input function. Notice how we're wrapping that input in a float conversion? That is super important. It lets our console app handle decimals perfectly. So if someone types 1.5 kilometers, it doesn't freak out. We do the exact same thing to grab the starting and ending units as text, capturing the whole shebang so we can feed it directly into our logic.
But here's the thing. Terminal apps are great for testing, but let's be real, they aren't exactly user-friendly for everyday folks. So the big question is, how on earth do we take this clunky console script and transform it into a polished, modern web app?
Section 4, Enter Streamlit, Web UI. Enter the absolute hero of this whole process, Streamlit. If you haven't used it, it's an incredible Python library built specifically for rapid UI generation. And the best part? You literally don't need to touch a single line of HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. It takes your standard Python script and spins it up into a beautiful, shareable web app in just a matter of minutes. It's a total game changer. Getting started is as simple as running pip install Streamlit right in your terminal. Now, a quick heads up, if you hit a permission error, which happens a lot on Windows, just try switching your terminal over from PowerShell to CMD. Or if you get some weird corrupted distribution error, clear things out with a pip cache purge, upgrade pip, and try again. Seriously, don't stress if you hit these roadblocks. Debugging installations is practically a rite of passage. All right, once you got it installed, there's one golden rule you have to remember. Whatever you do, do not run your code using the standard python app.py command. Nope. Instead, you absolutely must type streamlit run app.py. That specific command is what tells Streamlit to fire up a local server and hand you a local network URL so you can actually see your app live in your browser.
All right, Section 5, Translating to Web Interface.
You're going to love how easy this transition is. You can basically map your familiar console commands directly over to Streamlit's visual components. So instead of a plain print statement for your title, you use st.title. Instead of regular print, it's st.write. And the absolute best part, to replace that clunky terminal input prompt, you just drop in st.number_input and boom, you instantly have an interactive field on your web page. It really does feel a bit like magic.
Now watch out for this common trap. Python naturally runs your code straight from top to bottom. This means your app might actually try to calculate the conversion before the user even types anything in, which obviously throws a massive error.
The easy fix? A trigger. By adding an st button and wrapping our calculation inside an if statement tied to that button, we force the code to just sit tight and wait until the user actually clicks Convert.
Section 6. Submitting your Python project.
Once your app is looking great and working perfectly, you need to follow the submission pipeline. Make sure you submit that growth mindset challenge first to get your foundation set. After that, go ahead and submit your new unit converter using the Google form provided in your portal. And hey, don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. That form is completely editable, so you can always jump back in and update your URLs as you finish more projects.
So we've taken a basic console script and turned it into a fully interactive web app. Pretty amazing, right? Now that you have the power to rapidly translate raw Python logic into a beautiful web interface, the big question is, what complex application are you going to build next? The possibilities are completely wide open. Keep experimenting, keep breaking those big problems down into small chunks, and I honestly cannot wait to see what you create.